Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to Friday, and we've made it another week. So, we are currently in lesson 9. For this lesson, you are going to need your word web, your daily comprehension, your interactive journals, because we love having our anchor charts next to us, and the circulatory story. So this is a friendly reminder of how you can access the circulatory story. Remember, you go on to Teams, then to reading class. Make sure you're on the tab that says General and then go to Files. On Files, you'll be able to see the circulatory story. Remember, all you have to do is click on it, and you can also download it by clicking on the upper right-hand corner 3 dots and download. Okay, boys and girls, so how we start is with our word web. So today we're going to find the word atrium, and that's going to be in the back of our books. So let's go ahead and write the word atrium and look up the definition. So according to the glossary that's behind the books, if you scroll all the way to the back, we'll see the word atrium, and it is right here, boys and girls, and it says it's one of the top two chambers or rooms of the heart that receives blood from veins. So make sure you pause the video so you have time to copy that. Okay, boys and girls, and this is what the atrium looks like. So if you can tell, there is two sides to the heart. Remember, on your picture, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can just draw a little heart, divide it by 4, and make sure you label the atrium just like they're doing it here. So if it doesn't fit inside of your picture, you can just draw an arrow, just like the diagram does, and label it atrium. So you have the right atrium and the left atrium. So for the synonym today, we are going to leave it blank. We're only going to have the definition and the picture because a synonym, well, there really isn't any. So we're going to go ahead and continue. So our objective for today, boys and girls, is student will be able to identify the main idea of a section using the circulatory story. Oh, boys and girls, we're going to do the same thing. Remember, section is a part of a story and selection is the whole story. Good job if you said selection is the whole story and section is part of the story. So how are we going to do that? Remember, we ask ourselves 2 questions for main idea. Who or what? And what about it? Remember, we must provide supporting details and we must use textual evidence. Remember, textual evidence comes straight from the textbook. And remember, we are still answering the question of what is a great heart literally? Remember, literally is a real heart, the one inside of your chest. If you touch it right now, it is literally beating. It is true. It is real. So for today, we're going to be reading pages 8 through 11. Make sure you have it in front of you, or you can always go to Teams and read it through there. Okay, boys and girls, so this next section, as you might have guessed by the word atrium, we're going to be talking about the heart. So this next section is labeled Your Heart Open 24/7. So we can already start analyzing that the whole section is going to be about the heart. And what does it mean by open 24/7? That means it never stops. You know those stores that say open 24/7? That means they never close. Your heart never takes a day off. It never closes and never stops beating, of course, until you pass away. So if we scroll down, we're going to start. Traveling on your red blood cell. The first place you'll visit is a heart. Your heart-working heart is about the size of your fist. So if you close your fist, boys and girls, that is how big it is. It is located in the chest, a little towards your left side. It's enclosed in a special protective sac called the pericardium. The heart is strong and muscular and works day and night. Oh, boys and girls, what is the heart? It is what? Strong and muscular. Yes, so good job if you said strong and muscular. In fact, it started beating 8 months before you were born. By the time you're 70 years old, it would have beaten about 2.5 billion times. Oh my goodness, boys and girls. So your heart is what? Strong and muscular. Yes. So let's look at this illustration the author included. Meanwhile, in the year 2072, congratulations, your heart has beaten 2.5 billion times. Gee Wilkers. So why do you think the author included this illustration? It was to show me, right, that even though we're older, our heart would still have beaten so many times. All right, let's continue page 9. Stay on your side. Oh, so by looking at what is this called, boys and girls? Remember, your anchor chart should be in front of you for text features. So it is a diagram. And why did the author include it? What do diagrams do? They show me, and this one's showing me the what? What is it? It's my heart, and it's showing me the different what? Sides. So I know this whole section is going to be talking about the sides of my heart. And it says stay on your own side. I wonder why. You'll notice that the heart has two sides. Oh, the right and the left side. So how many sides, boys and girls? Two, the right and the left. A thick wall called the septum separates the two sides. So we can see here in the middle, there's the septum. And it's pointing right here. Each side has its own job to do. So why is the heart divided into two? Because what? Each side has a job. The left side receives blood from the lungs and pumps it to the whole body, while the right side receives blood from the body and pumps it to the lungs. You might think of your heart as a divided highway. Oh, boys and girls, what did the author just say that you can say your heart is? It compared it to a divided highway. Why? Because each side has a job. Good. A divider separates the lanes, and cars must stay in their own lane. If not, there's trouble. So boys and girls, the author included, what is that language called? It's an exaggeration. It's not true. There's not really a highway in my heart. It's what? It's figurative language. He compared it to the highway and how they must be divided, because if not, there's going to be issues. So look here, boys and girls. The author included this illustration to show me how one side and the other side work. Remember, they have to be divided. If not, there's going to be a huge traffic jam inside of my body, and more than likely, I will not be healthy, right? Because remember, what do red blood cells carry? Oxygen. So if I can't get oxygen throughout my whole body, then I can't be okay, right? All right, let's continue. Rooms with a view. Boys and girls, are we talking about rooms? What do you think the author is going to talk about? The different parts of your heart. Good. Look at this illustration. And it's also a diagram. And if we can see inside of the heart, it's also called a cutaway. So good job if you said a cutaway. So yes, this is a cutaway. This is a diagram. And it's also an illustration. So let's go ahead and see. The heart not only has two sides, it also has an upstairs and a downstairs. Each side has an upstairs room and a downstairs room. Each side's upstairs and downstairs are connected. Oh, so not only does the heart have two sides, it also has a what? Upstairs and a downstairs. So let's see what those rooms do. But boys and girls, does our heart literally have rooms, like really in there? There's a little door that closes and opens? No, it's figurative speech. That means that there's 4 different parts of the heart. The upstairs rooms are called atria, atrium in the singular, and the downstairs rooms are called ventricles. So we have the atrium and then the ventricle. So in total, your heart has 4 rooms called chambers. Oh, boys and girls, what are those rooms called? They're called chambers, and they're the different sides of your heart. Unlike the rooms in your home, these rooms have no furniture. They're empty, leaving plenty of room for blood to flow through on a consistent basis. So the author compared it to what? Kind of like rooms that we have in the house. You know how you close the door and you have furniture? Maybe it's your room, your parents' room, an office. So these rooms, boys and girls, they're just sides too of our heart, and they have different jobs, and they have to be separated. Remember, each one of them has a different job. Beat it. So boys and girls, what can we already start saying about beat it? If it's talking about our heart, it's talking about how it pumps, right? If you touch your heart right now, it is beating. So I know this whole section is going to be about the heart beating. And if I see the diagram here, I see it's going to talk about the squeeze and the squeeze. So let's see. It's like Grand Central Station here in the heart, with blood flowing in and out with each beat. Each time the heart beats, it squeezes and then relaxes. So what happens to your heart? It squeezes and then it relaxes. This action sends blood throughout the heart and into the blood vessels that go to different parts of the body. Remember, what do we say blood vessels were like? They're like little tubes, right? And what's inside those blood vessels? red blood cells. And what is carrying the red blood cells, what is it carrying? It's carrying oxygen throughout our body. Okay. The left atrium is a nice place to visit, but don't get too comfortable here. You're moving down to the left ventricle. Hold on to yourself. You're going to the left ventricle the hard way, through a hole in the floor. So let's see. What is happening here, boys and girls? Remember what is the heart doing? Remember, what are the two things? It squeezes and then it's relaxing. So blood doesn't just stay there. The red blood cell doesn't just get to sit there and stay. He actually just passes through there. Okay, boys and girls, so it is time to get our handy dandy notebook, also known as our composition book. So on your composition book, I want you to label it lesson 9 because today it's Friday, we're in lesson 9. We're still going to find the main idea. Don't forget idea 57, your name, date, and go. And we're going to find the main idea for page 10. And boys and girls, what are the two questions that you ask yourself anytime that you want to know the main idea? What two questions guide you? Who or what? Good. And what's the second question? What about it? Good. So I'm going to go ahead and write them here. Remember, once we become really good at main idea, you don't have to keep writing them for now. You do need to keep writing them so that you remember and that you master main idea. Okay, so now we are on page 9. Sorry, we're not going to find the main idea of 10. It's the main idea of 9. Okay, so on page 9, remember, good readers always go back and reread. So I know this section is all going to be about staying on your own side. Okay, so you'll notice that the heart has two sides, the right side and the left side. A thick wall called the septum separates the two sides. Each side has its own job to do. The left side receives blood from the lungs and pumps it to the whole body, while the right side receives blood from the body and pumps it to the lungs. You might think of a heart as a divided highway. A divider separates a lane, and cars must stay in their own lane. If not, there's trouble. So remember, we looked at the diagram. So what is this section about, boys and girls? Remember, is it a who or is it a what? It's a what. Good. What is it talking about? Your heart. Yes, look at this illustration. The author even showed us an illustration, a diagram of the heart. Okay, good. What about the heart? What is so important about this section that talks about the heart? It is divided into two sides. Good. So let's go ahead and write that in our handy dandy notebook. Okay, so let's write the heart. Oh, don't forget to circle the what, because we have a what. And then we said the what about it was what? It was divided into two sides. Am I done, boys and girls? Is that it? Do I leave it like that? No, I need to complete a full sentence. So now I'm going to write here the main idea. So now I'm going to put those two together. So the heart is divided into two sides. Am I finished, boys and girls? Is that it? No, right? What do I need? Now I need my supporting details. So I'm going to put here supporting details. And what do supporting details do? They support your answer. They confirm your answer. And where do I get them from? Do I just make them up? No. Where do I get them from? The text. So let's go back as a good reader and get our supporting details. Okay, boys and girls. So I know that the main idea of this section is that the heart is divided into two sections. Now, why is my heart divided into two sections? What does the section say? Is there a reason the heart is divided into two sections? Yes. Why? What does it say? So each side has its own job to do. Okay, can we say that each side has its own job to do? Is that the reason why our heart is divided into two sides? Yeah, so let's go ahead and go and write that. So I'm going to go ahead and start writing here. Each side has a job. Okay, I have one supporting detail. I think we can find one more. So let's go ahead and go back and find another supporting detail to the reason as to why the heart is divided into two sides. Okay, so think about it, boys and girls. If the heart is divided into two sides because each side has its own job, what would happen if there wasn't a separation in the heart? What would happen? Remember, what did the author compare it to? A highway. Because what would happen? What would happen if everybody got on the street and they would drive anywhere they wanted? They could drive in the middle, on the right, on the left, and there was no rules. What would happen? There would be accidents all the time, right? So same thing with our heart. What happens if it's not divided? Remember, who's traveling in them? Red blood cells. Would they be crashing? Would they be able to travel throughout your whole body? No, right? So let's go ahead and write that. Another supporting detail is that if it's not divided, red blood cells wouldn't be able to deliver oxygen throughout your body. So let's write that. So here we're going to write, without a separation, there would be no what? No flow of red blood cells delivering oxygen. Okay, so without a separation, there would be no, I'm going to put delivery of oxygen. Because remember, they're going to get stuck there, just like in the street when there's an accident, cars can't really go through them. So you get stuck in traffic. So that's what would happen. Without a separation, there would be no delivery of oxygen because they would be all crushed there. Okay, so because I wrote very, very big and we're going to finish this in class, I'm going to go ahead and start already asking myself the two questions. What do I ask? The who or what and the what about it. So boys and girls, I'm going to challenge you. I know that you can do this. I know you can find the main idea by yourself. So I'm going to let you try it. Okay, so you're going to try page 10. So that is your challenge. So page 10, remember the who or what about it, circle if it's a who, circle if it's a what. Don't forget also your supporting details. So once you write your who or what, don't forget your complete sentence. And then don't forget your supporting details. And for this, I want two supporting details also. How many supporting details, boys and girls? Two. So you're going to try this one by yourself. And this is what page 10 looks like. It says rooms with a view. So you already know that section is going to be about rooms with a view. And I don't mean literally the rooms in your house. We mean the heart. So go ahead and try that by yourself. Remember, you can download the book from Teams, or you can just view it through your computer or your laptop if you need to. Okay, boys and girls, before you go, don't forget to have your homework ready to check with a red pen if you have one. Be ready to do your do now. Today we have a mini test on George Washington. I love George Washington. And be ready to share your main idea and supporting details from page 10. I will see you in class.